Alright guys, we're back here with my 2005 Passat with the TDI, the BHW TDI. We are going to change one part. I'm getting the low pressure oil pressure light on the dash, which on a BHW a lot of people initially point to no oil pressure from the balance shaft module failure, and they switch over to a ALH or a BEW style oil pump. I believe mine's okay. I believe my pump is okay, because otherwise I think my engine would have blown up on the drive home. Like 15 minutes with the light on, and I think if I had no oil pressure it would be gone. So today I'm replacing the easiest thing that could be the problem. It's a very affordable part, even from VW. So even from VW, this oil pressure switch, look at this, I got an original one. I believe I got it from Passat TDI out in Colorado. And I don't remember how much it was. It was less than $30, I believe. It was maybe 15 or 20 plus shipping. And on a BHW, see that right there? Right there on the front of that oil housing is where it is. So it really shouldn't take too long. Now, to confirm I have oil pressure, I also picked up an oil pressure test kit, which is real simple. You just find whatever fitting you need to plug in, then plug in the gauge, start the vehicle, and read what it says. And if it has zero pressure, your motor probably doesn't have a whole lot of life left, and you should probably shut off your car immediately if you care about it. But like I said, I'm pretty sure the shop just told me it does have oil pressure. And I got that back for a fuel injector that they replaced, and it does run better, so I'm glad I took it to them, even though usually I don't like taking my stuff to shops, but sometimes you need the pros, the people who do this every day. And right now I got a light on. They didn't tell me exactly what it was, but they did say we did have some pressure. We did have oil pressure, so I've just got a light on. I'm gonna, hopefully maybe it's just this little sensor. If not, I'm gonna unplug everything and clear the code, and then we'll see what happens, because this car is fine otherwise, but while it's out we'll test that. So let's get that out. Alright, so this tab comes off pretty easily. Don't put this little guy right here, but don't be fooled into thinking that you need to stick your ratchet or your screwdriver in this hole. There's a tab on here. Just put your screwdriver flathead right in there, and right in this little put your screwdriver right on this big one and just pull it back. So it'll look something like this, and then just pull it back, and that will unleash it. So now I've got a completely open sensor that I can just take a huge 5/16 wrench and undo it. Alright, so whatever way you can get it off it, but 5/16 is the size, or whatever the metric equivalent is. But go here, 5/16 fits pretty snug. Alright, so once you break it loose, it wasn't on there super tight. Just twist that guy out. Might be a little oil drippage, but it won't be a whole lot. Definitely something you can do from the top of your car. Alright, so yeah, there is some oil coming out. Not terrible though, just a few drips. And I really hope that's my problem, that this thing is just the original and it's old, because that'd be very convenient, right? It's an easy change out to the new one. Now, like I said, if you've got the oil pressure test kit, like I do, and you got time to turn it on and start it, you might as well. So let's see what we're working with here, because all this is, it just snaps on. I'll put an Amazon link for this kit, but this is just, it just snaps on like this, kind of like a quick disconnect, and then bam, start the car. Alright, in this kit we ended up using number 9. It was perfect. They all have O-rings on them, except for, looks like this one, but it came with a couple extra ones. So it's a number 9, as you see right down there. Fits just fine. I'm going to give it a quick snug with this adjustable wrench, because I don't know exactly what size it is, and then we can hook it up. Alright, we got our gauge here with our quick connect. We're going to pop it on, make sure we route this in a way where one, we're not hurting the original plug, but two, it will stay out of the way of the alternator and anything else that may be in the way. Alright, so that's on there, and this comes up here. We're gonna put it in front of this hose, just so it cannot even if it wants to, swing back by the alternator when I start it. So this should tell me what kind of oil pressure this car is making, if that's sealed correctly, which I believe it is. And as long as I have oil pressure, I'm gonna put the new one on. I'm gonna put the new one on regardless, but I'm gonna put the new one on, and if it says we have oil pressure, I know when the thing comes back on, it is not an actual oil pressure problem. Alright guys, so I just took this, and see how it's still a little over 15 psi. I had this up here like this, and I faced it towards where I could see it, and I went down the road, and it never went up. And if the gauges are correct, which I don't have my Autel on it right now, but if the gauges are correct, the car wasn't warmed up yet. In theory, you rev it up a little bit, oil pressure should go up, right? So one of two things that means. That means this car is struggling to make oil pressure, or this gauge is bad. Not working. Let's see if it bleeds. Okay, well, it does bleed. So according to the gauge, it's only about 15 psi. So I'm going to take it out, put in the new sensor. I might retry this again at another date when the engine's warm, and see if it's still 15 psi. If it's still 15 psi when the motor's warm, then I wonder if this gauge is a little bit off. But I would in theory expect it to go down. However, because it didn't go up when I gave it some revs going down the road, it doesn't give me a whole lot of hope for either this oil pump or this gauge. So let me get this off and the car back together, and we'll go. So we got the new part to put back in. I'm about to run it on my Autel now that we know that the manual gauge says about 15 psi. Manual gauge was right about 1 bar. So did I put that in there? Yep, and remember it was a number 9 on the test fitting. But let's get this in there real easy. Just slide it back in and reconnect. Slide it back in. I'm going to use that same 15/16 wrench, and now I know for sure I've got a new sensor, although to be honest this looks like it was a waste of $20, because it looks like I got something else going on. But I'm going to plug it back in, and my oil pressure switch is done. So thanks for watching, guys. Oil pressure switch can be done right from the top of the car, real quick, easy. I would say, depending on how fast you get that plug off, maybe 10 minutes start to finish. 15 minutes. Once the plug's off, if you have the right size wrench, it should be pretty quick. So, alright, but here's this car that apparently might need some more help, and we're going to see if we can give it to it. So, thanks for watching.